Let's do this. The Cult of Hockey podcast by the faithful and for the faithful. I'm David Staples of the Edmonton Journal, and I'm here tonight with Bruce McCurdy. Welcome, Bruce.
Hey David, how are you doing tonight?
Good. How are you doing?
A little PO'd, I got to tell you, but I'm getting frustrated watching this team get blown out on its home ice.
Yeah, the second they tied the game, Bruce, I could hardly breathe waiting for what seemed to me the inevitable.
The inevitable shoe to drop,
Yeah,
like a
it was a
jackboot.
it was a great comeback. It really was exciting to
Mhm.
see that and good to see that. But they just couldn't maintain it, and the Oilers lost 6-3 to the Carolina Hurricanes. They tied it in the third period. The Oilers did. They came back from a 3-0 deficit, which is a pretty major accomplishment in the NHL to tie it. But then 3 goals by Carolina. And Bruce, it was like the Oilers outchanced Carolina on grade A chances, 12-10 this game. Carolina, though, scored on one grade C chance or one grade F chance, as my old boss Murdoch Davis just said on Twitter. But Carolina's chances, Bruce,
F for like fix auto, right?
yeah,
I love
it
those commercials.
it was the 10 grade A chances were at least five of them were like triple A chances, like just
Oh,
almost gimmies. It was like the Oilers were playing Red Army tonight. That's what it reminded me of.
Harlem Globetrotters was what I was saying to my wife, but yeah, Red
Just the
Army.
way that they move the puck around with such extraordinary skill. It was actually pretty lovely. I hate to say that, but it really was the way
I like
Teravainen and,
Carolina.
and
I
Aho,
like Carolina, and I like their game tonight a lot.
the way they move they are the Oilers weren't outworked, they were outsmarted in this game tonight. And Carolina, just such a smart and skilled hockey team, very impressive, and they really know how to play the game of hockey. So this is our two good things, two bad things, and two numbers podcast, Bruce. What are you going to go with your good thing?
Well, I got to go with the Oilers' three-goal comeback, I guess. I mean, they were down 3-0 after the first period, dead and buried, really, after the first. And they managed to push their way back in the game with one in the second. And then, after quite an extraordinary series of events early in the third that saw the Oilers blow a minute plus 5-on-3 and a penalty shot, and then somehow managed to score a goal just at the end of the second power play. And then minutes later, they tied it up. And it looked like, well, we might be in for an exciting finish here. But I had the same sense of foreboding and dread that you did.
Yeah.
And sure enough, I mean, first shot of the third period, like the Oilers had outshot them 7 or 8-0 at that point, and Carolina literally gets one chance, and bam. But you give Oilers credit for at least not caving altogether. Rather than just getting blown out once by the Hurricanes, they effectively got blown out twice. That's my
Well,
good
they are
thing.
the Hurricanes.
Yeah.
You know, uh, that McDavid. With our scoring chance project, we don't count shots that miss the net, and there's a lot of debate about this, right, in the NHL,
Yeah.
even in the coaching
No,
fraternity.
I understand.
And Roger Nielsen, who invented this, went both ways. He initially counted shots that all the scoring opportunities, and then he focused on only the shots that hit the net. And Tom Rennie did that, and it was Tom Rennie who convinced me just focus
Mhm.
on the shots that hit the net, because when you miss the net, it is such a letdown on the bench
Yeah.
for a team. It is not a positive moment in the game to have a great opportunity in the slot and miss the net. That is a downer cow. That's a horrible moment. And case in point, Bruce, why you do not count shots that miss the net was Connor McDavid's penalty shot. That's an opportunity. That's a golden opportunity, but that is not a great A chance because you don't hit the net.
Right.
So there you go. Mike,
Well,
go ahead.
the argument can be made that defensively, you give up the grade A chance where the other guys miss the net or not. But as soon as you start doing two different sets of parameters, then your count doesn't make any sense, right?
Yeah.
If you get tougher on giving up chances defensively than you do crediting them offensively. So we've gone long time gone with shots on the net or off the iron,
Yeah.
and anything that misses the target, No matter how 10 bell a chance, like Carolina had one like 2 minutes into the game tonight where the guy was all alone where the Oilers were puck watching
Yes,
and the
yes.
guy missed the top corner and it was a sure goal if he hit the target, but not a scoring chance by our definition. And you can discuss among yourselves. But ultimately, as long as we're consistent about how we apply it, I mean, if we counted all of those, we'd be counting a few more chances each way every game. And I don't suppose the overall data would be all that much different.
It probably wouldn't be, although some players have a proclivity to get in that nice scoring chance spot and to miss the net. I think Josh Archibald is a pretty good example of that this year. And um, listen, there's a lot more. This is a subjective process that we're involved in
Yeah.
which we try to
Mhm.
limit by having guidelines, definitions, by having two people go over it as we do. But when you start to include missed chances, then I think you're really
No, I'm
getting,
pretty comfortable with how we
yeah,
find things.
yeah, me too. All right, my good thing, Bruce, was the McDavid line. I didn't think Joachim Nygaard uh, was stellar on the line, but I do think he kept up, and it was an okay first look at him on that line, and enough to warrant another look. I'm going to suggest that line was all those players on that line were +2, um,
Hmm.
mainly on the backbone of two, you know, great Cassian goals. I think McDavid fed him both times. The
Hmm.
second goal is the one that sticks out in my mind because it's fresher,
Hmm.
maybe, but just McDavid's great play, protecting the puck behind the net and feeding Cassian in the slot.
Nygaard was involved in that one,
Got an
so he
assist. He
got an
put the
assist
puck
on
in the
that one.
right place there. So
Hmm.
I think Nygaard. What I like about him is he's fast enough to keep up
Hmm.
with Connor McDavid, and he's got some aggression in his game and some skill. I think that they might have a top six forward there, and I'd like to see him get a chance of 6, 7 games. I mean, James Neal has been used all year in the top six. I don't mind seeing him in the bottom six for on the third line, and move Nygaard up and see how that goes. I mean, the Oilers may, in the end, decide to trade for another forward. I don't think they're there yet. I'd like to see Nygaard get that chance, and
Hmm.
I'd like to see one of Benson or Yamamoto get that chance if Nygaard doesn't make it, and maybe then if the Oilers haven't if the Oilers are still in the playoff run and no one's stepped up in that role, maybe then you make a trade. But I think there's still options that you look at internally before you go outside. And McDavid was just fantastic tonight. He was flying out there. He's been fantastic. He's taken over. He's easily there. There was a debate earlier on that most people would have agreed Draisaitl was better than McDavid in the first month and a half of the season, but
Yeah, I
since
think
then,
so too.
McDavid has absolutely
Yeah.
Draisaitl's been slumping, and McDavid has absolutely been shining. He's game after game after game, he's playing well. The odd give or take the odd defensive lapse in overtime, and he had a fantastic game tonight. 3 points, so good for Connor McDavid, good for that line, and Zach Cassian. Outside of maybe that penalty at the end, he was just so strong. He was becoming such a force as a player, and it was a weird penalty, which segues into your bad thing, Bruce.
Yeah, my bad thing is bad penalties, and bad penalty killing on top of them. The Oilers took three bad penalties in this game by my count, and all of them wound up on power play goals for Carolina. Nurse took a unnecessary elbowing call when he brought his arm way up on the guy behind the net. Cassian, to me, what the penalty Cassian took with 10 seconds left in the first period is the worst penalty of the season by an Oiler to this point. And I was just beside myself when it happened. I said to my wife with about 2 minutes to go in the first period and 2-0, I said, this buzzer just can't get here soon enough. And it looked like they were finally going to survive. They had the puck. They were just breaking out of their own end, and Cassian ran a guy from behind and
Oh
hit him in
yeah,
the numbers. 10
yeah.
seconds left. And they couldn't even kill off the 10 seconds, David. It was in the back of the nets after 6 seconds on the power play. 3-0. And that was, I mean, you'd think that would have been the killer goal, especially for against an Oilers team that hasn't been able to score three goals on their home ice forever. But they actually did crawl their way back in the game. But once they made it, Carolina made it 4-3. Cassian took that extra penalty. And I mean, there's
There
lots
was
of room
lots of
to lots
penalties.
of room to beef on that penalty where. Cassian really gave the goalie a tiniest love tap, and it looked like a 6-on-1 scrum against Cassian,
Yeah.
where they pried his helmet off and they were all pushing and shoving. But Mr. Referee saw the original infraction and didn't see any of the retaliation. And Cassian was in the box, and sure enough, boom, 5-3, and then it really was over. So for all that he had an excellent game tonight with absolutely outstanding underlying numbers, Zach Cassian. Two bad penalties that both hurt the team.
Fair enough. Yeah. And
I
so
honestly don't know how I'm going to grade him, David. He played about 95% of a real good game.
yeah, I guess if the Oilers penalty killing had been more successful, we wouldn't be thinking about it as much. That's the way it is when you with penalties taken. But yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Bruce, my bad thing is the Oilers' bottom forwards, not just the bottom six, but because I want to include Jujhar Khaira in that list. He's got to make that play, Bruce, on that
100%.
slot play. Like he didn't. He just I don't know. Like anyone who plays hockey understands these things happens at any level. If you've ever played hockey, you understand that like
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you just miss the puck, but a hell of a time to miss the puck in the slot.
We
And it
finally
seemed,
come back to tie the score. 10
it seemed,
minutes left, tie game. Puck in your
yeah,
slot, huge chaos in front of your net. This is a good time to overskate the puck.
it
Oh,
seemed a little casual on his part. Like he just didn't bear down and get that puck. And obviously terrible, like terrible, terrible, terrible. And he felt bad. You could see he felt bad. But
well, I would hope he felt bad. There'd be
come
something wrong with him
on.
if he didn't.
Yeah, fair enough. But I didn't like, so the PK guys usually get the job done, and that's how they kind of rescue themselves from their ineffectual even strength play. Tonight, that wasn't the case.
So,
With of course, Carolina was moving around the puck on the power play as if they were magicians, just truly, flipping the puck through the air and on purpose and hitting guys right on the stick. It was amazing. But at even strength, Bruce, we've long sang the praises or been hoping for Patrick Russell. He's got to do something. He's got to play better. He's got to make a goal happen. Um, Josh Archibald and Gaetan Haas on the fourth goal were both. Um, the puck went through both of them into the slot. Haas just was flying around but not accomplishing anything. Riley Sheehan didn't get anything done at even strength. Marcus Granlund, he had one deflection on net, but other than that, nothing done at even strength. These guys, um, I'll tell you what, if they're going to be so weak at even strength, they've got to kill off all those penalties all the time. And they've been
well,
doing that.
mostly they've been doing. I think this is the first game all year the Oilers have given up more than one
I think there
power
was one
play
other they
goal.
gave up
May
two.
have been one. They
Yeah,
gave up two. Certainly the first one where they gave up three.
yeah. And so
Um,
they have held their own because they've been so excellent on the PK, but not tonight. So they're my bad thing for tonight.
Well, Carolina's power play, as you say, were outstanding. I mean, they scored 3 goals in this game, the first goal and then two power play goals that were all scored from basically the same spot on the back door on Koskinen's left side, where they made a diagonal pass or deflection, or somehow they set up a guy right alone to slam it home from about 6 feet out. I mean, great goals. Koskinen, I don't think he had any chance on any of those 3 goals, like no chance at all. Uh, the other ones, well, maybe you could make a case that he needed to make a save here or there, other
Well, I
than
don't know.
six
Yeah,
goal, six goal. But
I don't know. I didn't really
by
have
then
him
it
at
was over.
fault. I didn't have Koskinen at fault on any of them, but that grade F chance, that was such a smart play
Six
by
of them.
Dougie Hamilton. Dougie Hamilton looks like a
We
hell
should
of
get them to sponsor our show.
All righty. What is your number?
Well, I got, just because I can't believe it, I have to go with this one. Minus 15. That is Oscar Klefbom's plus minus in the last 7 games. Minus 15 in 7 games. I mean, this is like Washington Capitals 1974-75 territory.
Well, Bruce, he screened the hell out of the goalie
Unbelievable.
on the fourth goal,
Yeah, well, he
and
was
he
part of
was
the chaos. Yeah.
and he did. He was right in Koskinen's line of view, and that's really on Kara. But he also on the first goal, I don't know,
Hmm.
like Nuge was right by the goal scorer, right?
Hmm.
Who was the goal scorer on the first one? He was right by the guy.
Aho.
Aho, the Igor Larionov of the
Yeah, that's a
Carolina.
very, very good
He
comparable
was
to that
right
guy.
beside him, and then he got
Hmm.
puck watching, got all obsessed with the puck, like so many skilled foilers on foilers, skilled forwards on the Oilers always do. For years now, we've been seeing this. These greatly skilled players, they just zero in on that puck, and he lost. He lost Aho, sneaky little Aho, and Klefbom was also puck watching a little bit,
Hmm.
and they both lost track of Aho, and bam, the puck's in the net a second later. So at least on two of those, I pegged
Hmm.
two of the goals tonight.
Well, the
Klefbom
third
earned his minus
is
mark.
minus. Yeah, well, I think I wrote about it in the pregame because he's been minus 12 in the previous 6 games, and I think I tabbed him up, and I think he was at fault on 7 of the 12.
So now
And
nine out
tonight
of
it was 2 of the 3, and of course the last one was that one from center ice where everybody on the Oilers that got a minus was an innocent bystander. I mean,
yes, but so he's nine
what
of
the hell is
15
they going
then
to do on that? Yes, 9 of 15,
in the
and
last
that
how many
is
games,
yeah,
Bruce? Seven.
7 games.
That includes tonight.
Yeah, at even strength, 0-4, 14 against, and then one shorty against also.
So even good players have defensive slumps,
Oh,
and Klefbom, he is a good player.
do
But
they
this is
ever?
why
Yes, he
I
is.
never buy into the hype about Oscar. Like there's a lot of people who will say Oscar Klefbom is one of the elite. A lot of Oilers fans really believe he's one of the best defensemen in the NHL and like a really elite defenseman. I don't see it. I think he's a top four defenseman in the NHL, and he's a good player.
Mhm.
But there are too many defensive mistakes on an ongoing basis with Oscar Klefbom, and there have been for years. And he goes in these defensive slumps now and then. He can play well, really well for stretches as well, but he's just too inconsistent a player defensively to be in that, to be considered. I think in the top 30 NHL D-men. I don't have him
Yeah.
there.
In his defense, in this 7 game span, he's had a tough run of partners. He had to play with the rookie Caleb Jones for a while,
Yeah.
just before Jones got sent down. Then he got put out with Adam Larson, and they got caved for -4 in one game against Ottawa. And then they put him down on the third pairing there for a game. Uh, who the heck did he even play with?
Benning healthy.
Yeah, no, no, it's the guy they just sent down, Joel Pearson.
Yeah.
And so he's been playing musical partners, and all of the partners that he's played with have also been struggling. But
Yeah.
you'd like to
Larson.
think Oscar would settle them down a little bit, and it's just been a tire fire.
I thought Jones was pretty good tonight, actually. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah. I nearly named him as my good thing.
yeah,
He
no,
was
I
skating. He
thought,
made some good. He was thinking
and he,
offensively, but he was scooting back into position as opposed to puck watching, which was his problem before he went down.
yeah, and he was looking like he wants to play in the NHL, like make some plays. Like I'm going to
Yeah.
seize this opportunity,
Hmm.
which is what players have to do, right? Like Cassian's done that clearly since he's moved up, seize the day, and we've seen it with Ethan Bear. I'm hoping to see it with two players in the next month, Nygaard and Jones, and Koskinen, of course, but that's a different story. He's Koskinen's been inconsistent. Although we've only really seen one bad game, and that was last
Yeah.
week from
Yes.
Koskinen. I don't even think I wouldn't even say this was a bad game. This is a weird game, and you're playing Red Army, and they're going to make you look bad on a limited number of
He
score
was Ken
chances.
Dryden against Red Army tonight.
Yeah, or Team
They
Canada
they
72.
laid they laid in a dollar short on that 8-way passing plays across the slot.
Larionov to Karuta or to Makarov is what
Uh-huh.
we saw tonight with Teravainen and Aho. Spectacular hockey players.
Yeah, that
Uh,
that tip pass by Teravainen and two Aho on the first goal, that was all world. I think he did it on purpose. It was either an incredibly fluky deflection, uh, that he was trying to put on net and he tipped off wide at a slow rate, or it was one where he tried to take something off it and chip it into the area where Aho could finish the play. And I saw it as the latter. It looked like a real elite play by Toivu Teravainen.
My number is 2, as in 2 minutes. And so I've been listening to the audiobook of Ken Dryden's biography of Scotty Bowman, which is really a kind of a recitation of Bowman's analysis of the top 8 hockey NHL teams of all time.
Oh yeah.
And it's a fantastic
Really?
audiobook. Probably if you want to read the book, it's good. But
I do
I like audiobooks now.
want to read the
Anyway,
book. I
the
haven't.
most there was one stat that just clobbered me over the head, Bruce. And Ken Dryden said that in the 1950s, the average shift length was 2 minutes long. And he
Oh,
brought this up in the context of when Henri Richard made the Canadiens as a 19-year-old. They were excited about him because he could actually play 3 minutes at a time. He played, and it threw off the other team, him playing 3 minutes at a time. And this is, of course, the segue here is Leon Draisaitl's long shifts. And tonight he had a number of shifts. Most of his really long shifts are on the power play, but he also has these even strength shifts. And you'll hear, I think we heard Drew Remenda talk about Leon being out there with, I think, straight legs was he's
yeah.
not able to bend his legs anymore because he's leaning over. He's so tired, which happens to me after about 5 seconds of every one of my beer league shifts. Happens to Leon after about 55 seconds. And he had a number of shifts, at least 2 or 3, where he's out there, even strength, tired as hell, not getting off the ice. And it's because he just wants to score. He's desperate to make something happen and score a goal. And he hangs out there too long in that hope that he's going to get that break to make the big play. And it's starting to, it's a bad habit that he's got to break, and his coach is going to have to break it for him, like with some stern medicine. I think if Leon doesn't hear the message from the coach himself, because I don't think Tippett's saying, "Well, just stay out there as long as you think, Leon, and
Yeah.
because I trust you." And
'Cause I think you're Phil Esposito, and you can have a 2 or 3 minute shift. I
or
mean,
because we were living in 1955 and
uh
2 minute shifts, okay, it ain't okay when everyone else is sprinting
yeah.
and you're only able to jog
hmm
because you're so damn tired.
hmm
What do you think Tippett's saying?
Well, I'm
We
I'm
can't,
look
we don't know, but
I'm looking at Leon's shifts from tonight, and he played. He had 22 shifts, and 14 of them were over 1 minute in duration. And the Oilers only had what, 4 power plays, of which two were overlapping. So it's not like those were all power play shifts. That's just not even possible. And in addition to that, 59 seconds, 56, 53. So not very many of the sort of 40 to 45 seconds that's considered to be the sort of ideal in the modern NHL. And I'm not sure that McDavid was much different, to tell the truth, because he had the same average, 1 minute 4 seconds per shift. He had one that was 3 minutes and 13 seconds, for goodness sake. And then that must have been a power play. Another one that was 2 minutes and 51 seconds. That was a two-man advantage. But same thing, 8 to 10 shifts of over 1 minute long.
so what I think might be the answer, and like I know that McDavid and Draisaitl have been so strong at even strength this year, but
hmm
in terms of a reset for Leon Draisaitl, like to get him back to his game,
hmm
maybe the message should be, okay, you're going to be center. You are the center of the second line, and you'll have Nuge and whoever else is your winger. Kara he's fine. Um, you'll have 2 good wingers. Like Nuge is a very good winger, and Kara's not bad at this point. Like I don't actually mind him in that role. But your only job, Leon, is to play 50 seconds at a time of solid defensive hockey. When you go on the ice, that's what you're thinking. 50 seconds of solid defensive hockey where you're taking care of every single responsibility. You're back checking like you can. You're playing down low like you can. You're sealing off everything down there. And that's a success. If you do that, you've succeeded on the night. Because of course, that the other stuff is going to come. But the reset for him might be that. How does that sound?
Yeah, well, the defensive side of the game, I mean, tonight he was -1. And much as plus minus has its flaws, and especially in who's responsible, which is what our project tries to zero in on a little bit better. But he's been a minus player, not even, a minus player for 8 consecutive games, 8 in a row.
Whew.
And that's our, top player. And when our top guys are losing the goal differential battle, the chances of the team winning are not very high at all.
I'm going to do a post tomorrow on this. Like, I know you dug into this today, and I'm going to dig into it, but we're just looking at our scoring chance
Hmm.
data for Klefbom and Draisaitl
Hmm.
during this slump period. So it's 8 games for Draisaitl, you
Eight
say,
minus games in a row, and
and
over the
for
last
Klefbom,
12, he's been
it's
minus 13 total.
maybe I'll go 12 games back and have a look. And yeah, I know that his scoring grade A scoring chances
Mhm.
plus minus which is what we track, has plummeted. He was up there even with McDavid and Cassian, who's been shooting up, and he's way behind them now. So he's been not creating much, and he's been leaking grade A chances against, because we're looking for individual responsibility, and it's not been good
Yeah.
with.
Well, what we're seeing is a combination of those guys, having logged a lot of minutes early in the season. The three
Yeah.
big minute munchers, the two forwards, and Klefbom, who's leading the league in average ice time for a while. And we've seen it a couple times in overtime where it's obvious where the other team has attacked Draisaitl and McDavid late in their shift, late in their long shift. I don't know how much we might find that that's happened at even strength. But when he's skating with straight legs, like Remenda said, that is a pretty darn good time to attack. And they've got to change that up somehow. I thought the plan tonight uh, with them being on two different lines was to get those lines rolling a bit more. And I said to my wife just before the game started, I said, I really like to see them cut down on the shift length for these guys. But when you look at the bottom line, here they are both well over 1 minute per shift again. And I think if you take the penalties out of that, it'll be right down around 1 minute, but it won't be anywhere near 50 or 45 seconds like they're oversaying. And it's clearly costing.
Yeah, I think McDavid can still he's getting away with it because he's just flying out there. But right now, Leon is struggling. To be fair to Draisaitl, tonight I didn't have him, and you're going to review my work, of course, but
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have him as making a mistake on any grade A chances against.
Draisaitl?
So, yeah. So to be fair, and he made 2 contributions to grade A chances for. I didn't mind his line. I thought that line was a part of the comeback. They were Nugent Hopkins, Draisaitl, and Kara had a few good shifts in there. They were part of the momentum going forward. And yeah, they Draisaitl contributed to Larson's chance that went off the crossbar that was deflected in the slot, and actually
Yeah.
to 2 Adam Larson chances.
Well,
So
yeah, Leon was at fault on the one good shorthanded chance that Fogel had, where
yeah,
he coughed the puck up, and they went down and got a great chance. So, but at even strength,
oh
I
yeah,
don't
that was
see any
a.
at
You're
all.
right. That was on the power play. Yeah,
Edmonton's power play.
yeah, on Edmonton. I do have marked down for that. You're right, Bruce. I missed that on my initial scan. Alrighty, so the next game is against the Minnesota Wild in Minnesota.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm actually glad they're going on the road, David, because they've been much better on the road than they are at home. I mean, here they came home, they played one against Vancouver at the end of their long road trip. Then they went to Vancouver for one. So technically, it was only a 4 game homestand, but they played 5 home games in 10 days. And they got blitzed. 3-1, 11-4, 20 against. They got smoked. Right on their home ice. And 4 of the teams they played, Carolina was the only playoff team of the 5. In fact, the other 4 teams they played, none of them was even in the top 22 in the NHL last year. They were all got teams right down near the bottom. And for whatever, the teams just flat as a pancake.
I still like this team, Bruce. I think they've got the defensive depth to hang in there, and the bottom 6 forwards are fast enough to hang in there. And it really comes down to, will the goalies keep hanging in there? And it's kind of a coin flip, but I'll say it's
Mm.
heads. Heads, the Oilers win. All right.
Yeah, well, something's got to happen to turn things around. I mean, it looked like down the QE2, and I think Calgary's won six in a row, and all of a sudden they're 2 points behind, and that big bulge Edmonton had built up over them has almost dissipated to nothing with 50 games left.
Yeah. When they tied it up tonight, I had visions of 2 points dancing in my head I did for a few seconds, although I was still not breathing.
Mm.
Oh, well. All right. Thanks for talking tonight, Bruce.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. And in the meantime, and in between times, this has been another edition of the Cult of Hockey podcast.